Hey, NSA Northwest, we're so excited that we get the chance to be together. I'm Liotta, and I'm here with Dr. John Molidor, the current president of NSA, and Linda Keith, CSP, and one of the fabulous members of NSA that served us both on the local level as well as the board level. So we're going to chat a little bit about what we did today and what we've done together over time that we can talk about. Yeah?
Yes.
yes.
Those things.
Okay. So first off, I want to say, Dr. Molidor, President Molidor, are we the best chapter you've ever been?
Absolutely. The best. Oh, wait a minute. I keep my note.
Wait.
Sorry.
Let me clarify. That meets at the Mercer Island Community Center.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The best. The
Okay,
best.
good. Ever.
Unbelievable.
Right?
Yes.
Right
Here.
So one of the things that we always do when we come together is we get to learn and have community and also kind of elevate what we do as speakers. So one of the things I want to know from both of you is, what was the thing that kind of for you was most interesting in your early years as a member that you remember and it kind of moved you into membership and said, this is where I want to be, this is my community, that folks might want to know about if they're thinking about joining us?
So for me, the biggest thing was, where can I go to learn about the craft and the art of speaking? I knew a lot of things of what not to do.
Yeah.
Had no idea what to do and what might be the theory behind it. So I heard about NSA, so I joined. I did not know a single person.
Neither did I. I didn't know anybody when I joined.
Not a soul.
Yeah.
And I found myself on the first meeting, wandering around, and it was, in some ways, it was overwhelming. It was exhilarating on one hand, but it was depressing on the other.
Yeah, exactly.
It was exhilarating because, like, oh my goodness, these are people that do this for a living and get paid for it, and they're phenomenal. The depressing part was, I stink. I can't possibly. It's like, oh my goodness. It's like, I saw how good they were. I thought, oh, I'm not. But then it was also incentive to say, but this is a place I'm going to go to learn so I can get there. And so systematically just made sure I went to every winter and summer meeting.
Yeah, and that's so cool because that's where you started, and now you're the president of NSA. So, like, wherever you are now, that's where you start, but that's not the limit on where you can go. How about you, Linda? What was?
Well, I'll tell you what I thought was amazing about our chapter first, because I was involved in coming to all the chapter meetings long before I could budget to go to national convention and so forth. So this was my step in, and what I found was that people, even though I felt I had a lot to learn, people were so friendly and welcoming and made it very clear that if this is what you want to learn, not only are you welcome, but we're here to pretty much take your hand and walk with you. So that was different than any other professional organization I have joined in terms of the welcoming. And then I started getting involved in attending national. I volunteered in the chapter, started to get to know people, and then it becomes even more exponential.
Yeah,
it's so cool because once you do that learning and then you keep coming, then you build, as Linda said, you build that community, people that understand what you're doing, because I think in this business it's sometimes hard to explain to people, what is it that you do?
Yeah, exactly.
You seem to get paid for it, but I don't know what you do. So it was nice to build that community that understood you, and then, as Linda said too, over time you start building, growing the business.
It's kind of cool because we all kind of geek about the same thing. Like, we all love to share our expertise in some format of speaking. And so it's kind of fun to come together and be like, oh, my people, my geeks,
Exactly.
we all love that thing.
Now the other thing about when I joined is I had been professionally speaking for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And I was supporting my family doing it. So some people come to NSA when they're just thinking about getting into it, but many people are attracted to NSA when they've been for 10 years. And what happened was somebody in one of my audiences came up to me afterwards and said, you really ought to be coming to National Speakers Association. And I said, well, what's that? So one of the things about NSA is new to NSA doesn't mean new to speaking. And we attract people who are new to speaking and trying to learn it, but we also attract people who realize it's a pretty lonely, isolated activity if you're out there doing it, and finding others who, even if you think you know a lot about it, you're always new at something, whether it's social media or how video is now being used or online learning. So having been a member since 1989, I continue to find, well, your presentation today was really eye-opening for me because I knew some of those things, but there were some of the specifics that I either didn't know or have not implemented, that your explanation and the science behind it and the why and how it can work is the impetus to go back, and before my next presentation, which is in 1 week, I'm actually going to change the PowerPoint up.
Nice. And I think the other thing that's so cool is that not only do you get to see someone presenting their material and learning, but then you see how he or she does it.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's a double learning, because you're getting stuff to learn, but you're seeing how they're doing it, going, whoa, that's pretty effective, or this is something I might modify or I could use. And that to me was huge, because then it's like it was a twofold learning. Loved it.
Okay, so I want to know, you're visiting a lot of chapters in your year as president. What did you notice about the community here that was either unique, or you said that's the essence of us?
So one of the things that I would say for the NSA Northwest is that you support each other. It's like you genuinely seem to like each other.
We do.
And that
We
you
do.
guys asked a trillion questions, and it was like, and then you'd say things like, I'd like to build on that question.
Yeah.
And so it was like you worked together, you built together. And so that came through very clear, that it's like you're all there obviously to become better and to grow and to learn, and that was so cool. And so I love the energy.
Were
of the
we
group.
also the funniest audience? 'Cause
Absolutely.
We had a lot of riffing.
Absolutely, you were the funniest,
Funniest audience.
of all the chapters in Northwest. Absolutely, yes, hands down, you guys
The
were
funniest, the best
that's
dressed,
right.
yeah, all
Exactly.
those
all
things
the
are
credit
great.
in the Northwest. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, and one more thing that I think is interesting about you, John, is that people assume that people who belong to NSA, that what they do is sort of this keynote motivational speaker business. And what I love about your business model is it's one thing you do, but you're also the dean of a medical school, and you also are a professor. And so NSA, in terms of our membership, is getting so much more diverse. Speaking is in the mix, but it's not necessarily the only thing.
Yeah, and your model is the same. I mean, you have your courses that you delivered in person, and then you also have a really robust online curriculum that you've developed too.
And it's very much training.
And it's training.
And then I do
exactly.
some speaking at associations, but that's not what I'm after.
Right.
And yet I still find, even when I go to a presentation that's keynote focused, there's something about what they're talking about with regards to timing or stories or whatever that I can bring into my training and make the training better. And frankly, the keynoters in many cases, especially during the recession, were going, ooh, how could I do some training? So we're actually all seeing other models, picking from, but then also cross-pollinating some of these ideas.
Absolutely. So one of the goals is try to make sure that as a chapter, even national, is that we are more inclusive, that we're inviting people in. So if you bring expertise or eloquence and enterprise and ethics, so our big competencies, if you need to work on one of those four, you're welcome. We want you here because this is the place you could learn about it. So at the chapter level, you can learn it. At the national level, you can learn it. And that's going to advance us as a profession.
Yeah, everybody who comes, not only do they learn, but they teach.
Exactly.
So we are richer. The richer the fabric is, the richer the entire.
Absolutely.
And the more people that come and join us, the richer we get. So we hope that if you're watching this, you also are thinking about just checking us out at some point, or returning if you've already been and it's been a little while. Come join us. We can't wait to meet you.